Michigan Out of Doors Online is brought to you in part by Tri-County Logging. Experienced in sustainable forestry practices, Tri-County Logging can help you manage your property by keeping your woods healthy and generate income. Serving southern and mid-Michigan for nearly 50 years, TriCountyLogging.com.
Hi everybody, welcome to Michigan Out of Doors. I'm Jenny Sialik and we've got a brand new show for you. It's our first show of 2023 with all new content. Both Jordan and Gabe were out for late doe season in December. We're going to bring you a couple of their hunts with some pretty unique things that unfolded out there in the woods. You won't want to miss that. And Jimmy's got another brand new story in store for us this week.
Well, that's right, Jenny. We do have another story on this week's show. I was recently introduced to a sportsman in the mid-Michigan area who not only makes his own fly rods, but has some of the most beautiful fly rod cases that you've ever seen. Lots of good stories on this week's show. You stay tuned. I'm Jimmy Gretzinger. It's time for Michigan Out of Doors.
From the first spring rains to the soft summer breeze, dancing on the pine forest floor, the autumn colors catch your eyes. Here come the crystal winter skies. It's Michigan, Michigan out of doors.
What a beautiful day in the woods.
Someday our children all will see this is their finest legacy, the wonder and the love of Michigan. As the wind comes whispering through the trees, the sweet smell of nature's in the air. From the Great Lakes to the quiet stream, shining like a sportsman's dream, it's a love of Michigan we all share.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Country Smokehouse, a sportsman's meat processor and Michigan destination since 1988. Offers a variety of homemade smoked meats and Michigan-made products in-store and online. The Country Smokehouse features an outdoor barbecue and bar. Details at countrysmokehouse.com. By RBM Jigs, a Michigan-based company serving ice fishing anglers around the state and throughout the country. Specializing in ice fishing gear, RBM Jigs manufactures tungsten jigs, soft plastics, and much more. Online at lakeeffectlures.com. By AnglerQuest Pontoons. AnglerQuest is a Michigan-based company building boats designed for comfort and fishing functionality. For more information about the 2022 models, anglerquestpontoons.com. By Polarcraft Boats, offering riveted and welded boats for the outdoor enthusiast. Whether you're targeting fish or waterfowl, Polarcraft Boats have several models to choose from that keep you high and dry. For more information, polarcraft.com.
It's December 22nd. Out here tonight, got a little bit of snow coming down. There's actually a big storm system coming in here in about 2 hours. It's supposed to get a foot of snow and drop to 20 below zero with the wind chill in the next 24 to 48 hours. So big weather change, hoping these deer will be up on their feet beforehand. There was actually already deer near the blind when I was walking in, so it's only about 2 o'clock, but apparently I should have been here a little bit earlier. It's been a fun late season, but kind of an odd one. Never really had a nice buck show up, which normally, in a couple weeks after gun season, something will come through. I'll get a picture of one or see one that at least want to get a better look at, and that has not been the case this year. So I've had a lot of bucks that made it through, a lot of good deer for next year, just not anything real big. I have been able to spend a fair amount of time in the blind with my wife, which is pretty unusual for us, so we've really enjoyed that. Haven't filled any tags, but we've had a lot of fun sitting out here. So I'm in a blind tonight, which is something I don't usually do. I like to sit outside. I like to be in the elements. That's why I like the tree stand hunting. But it's supposed to be windy and snowing by the end of this hunt. I'm not even sure if we'll make it to dark, depending on how bad the weather gets. So figured I'd climb in the blind here. This is in a great spot. There's quite a few does in this section, so hopefully we have one step out and see if we can't get lucky. Had that doe step out. There was actually 3 or 4 of them. And that lone doe kind of worked a little bit closer to us. It was about a 100-yard shot. Felt like a pretty good squeeze. I got a great rest here. Of course, I shot and it's just all smoke with the muzzleloader, you know, so I really don't know for sure. But it looked like it hit her, and she had her tail down going in there. So hopefully I'll look at the footage and be able to tell exactly what happened. But it felt like a good shot. It's still pretty early. It's 3:30, so I might reload and sit here for a little bit. We'll see what happens. Well, might have just doubled up. Whew. That was a lot more friendly situation than the first one. There was a whole herd of deer coming out. Probably 15 or 20. And those first few, they were close, 50 yards maybe. I thought they were going to go out the front of the blind where I didn't really have a good shot. And kind of last minute, the one lead doe turned in front of the blind, and it was pretty close, and it was a big doe. Again, shoot, smoke flies. Not exactly sure what happened, but felt really good, and it was a pretty close shot. So, looks like we got some tracking to do, one way or the other. I'm gonna sit here for a minute, let myself kind of calm down, look at the footage, see what I think of both shots, and then hopefully go for a walk and recover 2 nice does. I'll sit tight and see if we can find these 2.
After a short track job, I was able to recover both does. With a freezer full of venison and lots of new memories made, I'm thankful for another deer season here in Michigan and for the time spent with friends and family throughout the fall. I'm already looking forward to next year.
Let's go,
The Looking Glass Whitetail Management Co-op is a group of hunters that work together to help manage the local deer herd. By establishing relationships with neighboring landowners, these guys have really helped change the deer herd in their area.
Oh, we're having our 2nd annual Doe-a-thon, which we started last year and had, probably 8 or 9 people. And this year, oh my goodness, did it go crazy. We got 27 people on our list. And right now we have 5 does in. And I'm just tickled to death we get this many people out to shoot a bunch of these does and get the numbers down and help the farmers out for one. And it's a great social thing to do. We're having a lot of fun doing it. And yeah, well, final weigh-in is tonight after dark, and we'll see how many we get. So I'm hoping we have a good turnout and everybody has a good time tonight.
Parts of Shiawassee County have huge populations of deer. I decided to tag along with my uncle and cousin to see just how many they had in their neck of the woods. I couldn't believe just how many deer there were in this fairly open farm country.
We are out here during late doe to shoot a doe, and we usually have anywhere from 50 to 60 does out here at a time, so we should have lots to choose from and see what we can see.
We're trying to get the heaviest doe is what we're hoping for, but we have a lot to choose from, so.
You're like window shopping here.
Yeah, we need to thin out the herd a little bit.
Not yet. There's a couple big ones out there, though. A couple more coming out of the woods right now.
How many are out there right now?
Probably 20 or so. Got her.
Nice shot, guys.
We got it done. Got a big one out of the group, and now we're just gonna give it a couple minutes and head out there. We're going up. We were trying to get a big doe out of the group for a big doe contest, so usually we'll have 40 or 50 does out in front of us, up to 70 at a time, and we probably had 40 or 50 out here tonight, and got to choose one of the big ones, and had a pretty good shot, about 100 yards, and dropped her right where she was at. So it was a good day.
Back at the Doe-a-thon, hunters had found a lot more success in the evening hunt.
This is the second annual Doe-a-thon that we have for the Looking Glass Deer Co-op in the Perry kind of Laingsburg area. And we did a full day event. Last year did a half day event. Got quite a few guys. I think we took about 14 does today. I think the biggest doe was 114 pounds. We're just trying to get everybody in the co-op together, bond a little bit, tell some stories, and help to manage our herd a little bit. We have way too many does out there. So hopefully after today, it pays off for us.
Putting in the hard work during the late season will definitely pay off in the following years, not only in the deer herd, but also in good relationships established among neighbors. A few days later, I was able to tag along with longtime friend Mark Klett. Mark is an avid hunter who always has the coolest custom pistols and rifles, but up until recently, he hadn't been able to even get out hunting.
So this year I had an unusual situation. Late August, I came down with an illness. It's called Guillain-Barré syndrome. A lot of people call it GBS, and it's basically an autoimmune response to a virus. I had a cold, just a simple chest cold in middle of August. It wasn't COVID, although COVID has been known to trigger this. It's really just my own body's immune system reaction to a virus that kind of just goes in overdrive and it starts attacking your nerves. I went from basically healthy and walking around to unable to walk in about 4 to 5 days' time. And so that led to, thankfully, I went to the University of Michigan hospital, and they had neurology people that recognized this right away. I was 3 weeks in the hospital, never was able to get out of bed. So I was essentially in the hospital or away from home almost 3 months. By the time I made it home, I was able to at least walk into my own house. That was my goal right from the start. So I can walk, I can get around, but uneven ground is very tough for me. So thankful for good friends to allow me to hunt here where it's easy to get to. A little bit of, I got up the ladder okay. I needed Gabe to help me to get in because I'm still fairly weak. If I'm on the ground, I can't get off of the ground without help. So my hunting has been curtailed to just a little bit behind my house, and then this. So I've hunted this is probably about my 7th, 8th time out. My next goal is to be really healthy, to be able to on my own for turkey season. So I got 5 months roughly for that, and I think I'll make that goal too. So this is a Packmar Dominator, quite rare, median About 1986 was the only year that the upper part was made. It'll fit on any 1911 frame. These are a little tricky to load. Try to do it here without blocking the view. You just take it, and the bolt face is like a shell holder. You can't just push it in. The cartridge actually slides in to the bolt face, and it's held stationary. Then you just slide it forward and then close the bolt. And then, since we're sitting here, we can decock it so it stays uncocked, and when you're ready to shoot, you have to cock it manually, and then it has a secondary safety that's like a hammer block right here. So you slide that up, and then it's ready to fire. And then the safety on the 1911 frame works just like normal. So it's really got kind of like three safeties. You have to cock it, you have to move that second manual safety, and then your frame safety is off. So it's an unusual thing. It's not a fast shooting arrangement by any means. It's not easy to reload it very fast, but hopefully you only need one shot.
A friend of ours had offered to let us sit over his food plot where he usually has lots of deer each evening, but the late December warm-up had really slowed the movement till the last bit of shooting light.
Yeah, that's a big doe.
The one that's walking.
No, the other one.
I'm gonna let it angle a little more.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Go ahead. She's down right there.
See it go down?
She's down.
I was trying to hit it in the shoulder, but I'm not sure if I hit it in the shoulder or the lung, but if Gabe says it's down, I couldn't see it go down at my angle, so.
That's a good shot. Nice
Good.
job.
Thank you.
First deer with the new gun.
Yep.
Very nice.
Well, it's an old gun, actually.
Old gun. Sorry,
A
new to you.
new old gun, new to me, but you know, actually the original action made basically 1986. So
Yeah, good one. That bullet come out a little high, but
Oh, that's your biggest, beautiful smile you got, huh?
Hardships in life always have a way of reminding you what's important in this world. To share a simple doe hunt again after a difficult illness meant so much more, as precious memories were once again made in Michigan's outdoors.
Well, special thanks to Gabe for sharing that hunt with us. Mark used to work with us here at Michigan Out of Doors for years when the show was owned by MUCC. Really good guy, and good to see him back out in the woods. In this next story, we're going to do something just a little bit different. You know, from time to time, we like to highlight people that make their own lures, maybe make their own flies, maybe even carve their own decoys. Well, we ran across a sportsman in mid-Michigan who really is taking that to a whole nother level.
I have often said some of the best parts about fly fishing is being where trout live. We as Michiganders have some pristine waters all over this state to cast a fly. I am by no means very proficient at it, but I do see the attractive things about this sport. It is hard to beat the sight of a well-casted fly and the stories that go along with the rod that has been passed down for generations or built by the angler. I recently ran across a Michigander who showed me something I just had to learn more about. Simply put, he makes the fanciest rod holders I've ever seen.
The company J.A. Henry, I didn't get excited about bringing a fly rod to market until I got the fly rod in my hands. The fly rod that I helped develop and make, the 2/8 fly rod, and I was so excited about this. I'm like, I gotta put this in a cool case. I gotta get this out there, and that's really how this all started, is with that fly rod.
Looking around the shop Andy has was pretty impressive, and I was curious to see how this whole idea of building a custom fly rod turned into woodworking.
In 2015, I was doing a remodel on my home, which was built in 1887. And I was pulling the vinyl off, and there was this beautiful white pine planks underneath it. And I'm like, I've got to pull these things off and do something cool with it. So when I started to plane these off and find this unbelievable wood down there, I'm like, okay, we'll do something with it. So I set them aside in my workshop, and then once this came up, I'm like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna take these rods and we're gonna package them in this cool case from 19th century barn wood, do something cool with it, kind of like a nod to early fly fishing pioneers or something like that was the idea. So right here we've got what I call the two-hearted fly fishing box, and on the cover here I've carved the AuSable River and some of the key access points to it. And when you open this guy up, we've got the two-hearted fly rod. This is a 2-weight, 7.5-foot carbon fiber fly rod. This is the rod that I've developed and am selling with this case. I also have a 4-weight, but they're both ultralight fly rods. And then with this, we've got the 2HLA fly reel, and that comes loaded with a Scientific Angler line, a 2-weight line, and then a burl maple fly box also comes with the case. And then I've built in a couple other compartments, is maybe a floating or maybe some tippets or line or different compartments for things. So.
To see behind the curtain a little bit was really interesting. Andy has kind of perfected the process now, but just where he got the idea for these fancy cases was born, well, in the back of a UP sporting goods shop.
So this is kind of a funny story. I was actually fishing the two-hearted, and I was up in the Newberry area. There's a sporting goods store called Duke's, I think it's called. It's an old sporting goods store. I think it was opened in the 80s or something. But in the back of that, there was an old magazine, fishing magazine. And I was just thumbing through that. In the very back, this thing had to be from the 30s. There was an advertisement for a fishing rod, and it was packaged in this wooden case. It wasn't anything like I make here, but it just gave me that idea, like, that's really cool. So that's where I got that idea from. And then I'm like, okay, well, wouldn't it be cool if we put the reel that I set up personally for this rod that matches perfectly with it, in the case with it, and a cool fly box. So that's how that all got started. If you can see, these edges are beveled right here, and I do that. It's just kind of a personal touch that I like to put on things. It gives it a little more of that aged feel to it. So I'll just take a palm sander and just kind of round over some of those corners. I'll show you how that's done. It's really easy.
Seeing these boxes come together was pretty cool to see, but Andy doesn't make just rod holders, as I soon found out.
This is carved with an old Michigan trout stamp from the Department of Conservation. This is a stamp they used in 1949. I just thought it was really cool with the brook trout on the cover. And inside here, we've got a decanter. This basically holds a decanter and 6 rocks glasses. And on the side here, we've got a built-in humidor that's lined with Spanish cedar. Wow. With a humidor and place for a cigar cutter and matches. And you know, what better way to end the day on the river than right? Than open this guy up and have at it.
I was introduced to Andy by a mutual friend, and of course what caught my eye initially was the woodworking on these boxes. But it was really the fly rods that not only started this process, but really how this whole thing got started.
Let's see, I've been building rods for a little over 20 years, ordering blanks, and then I started developing my own blank. I would say 2016, I started messing around with that, and I started to learn how to communicate with the manufacturer about what I wanted, how these things were made. It took me a while to learn. Once that became clear to me, how these things are made, that's when it got exciting. Like, okay, I can help create this rod that will do exactly what I want.
I have worked with Michigan Out of Doors Television now for 25 years, and I am continually impressed by the ingenuity and creativeness of the Michigan sportsmen and women. Thanks to Andy for showing me around his shop and for showing us some of the best looking rod holders around here in Michigan's Out of Doors.
Thank you so much for joining us this week for Michigan Out of Doors. Make sure you stay tuned in upcoming weeks. I'm still healing up from some shoulder surgery, but the guys are out there looking for some safe ice in the Lower Peninsula here. We've got a lot of great wintertime activities headed your way here in the new year. If you'd like to see where we are and where we're headed next, you can always check us out online.
Well, that's right, Jenny. Online is a good way to kind of keep tabs on us. You can do that through our website, our different social media platforms, as well as YouTube. You can actually subscribe there and get an email every time we post something new. Lots of brand new stuff coming over the next several weeks. Get out and enjoy it. And if we don't see you in the woods or on the water, hopefully we'll see you right back here next week on your PBS station.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by.
Do you dream of somewhere bigger than your backyard? You can get there with Greenstone. Whether you want to hunt, fish, hike, or just watch the sunset, we're ready to help you own your place in the great outdoors. To learn more, visit greenstonefcs.com.
By Alta Equipment Company, providing sales, rentals, service, and parts because uptime matters. From earth moving to landscaping and light construction, Alta offers over 50 brands across 7 Michigan locations to serve you. More information online or 844-GO-2-ALTA. By Walker's Creek Event Venue at Double D Ranch. Located in the central Michigan town of Lake, Walker's Creek offers an outdoor setting for weddings, corporate events, and more. Walker's Creek Event Venue, wcvenue.com. By Showspan, producing consumer shows including the Ultimate Fishing Show Detroit, January 12th through 15th at Novi Suburban Collection Showplace. The show features fishing tackle, trips, boats, and seminars from top pros. The Ultimate Fishing Show, Novi, January 12th through 15th.
When I wander far away, a dream stays with me night and day. It's the road that leads to my home state. I am a Michigan man. Changing seasons paint the scene like rainbow trout in a hidden stream. The white-tailed deer in the tall pine trees. I am a Michigan man. I am a Michigan man. Ask where I'm from and I'll show you my hands. Lord above, I love this land. I am a Michigan man. From the Keweenaw down to St. Joe, Kalamazoo, East to Monroe, to St. Marie and back again. I am a Michigan man. I am